Emergency meeting to order. And I will lead pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Plummer.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sagerstrom.
Here.
Councilmember Cruz.
Here.
Councilmember Merrill.
Here.
Councilmember Hawkins is absent.
Thank you. And it doesn't show it on this. Do we need to ask about the agenda posting anyway? Seems appropriate.
The agenda was posted in the front window of City Hall for this emergency meeting on Friday, January 6th at 4:15 p.m.
Thank you. So everything's missing. I'm going to presume that the council is good with the agenda, but that's a question.
Yes. Yes.
And
fine.
with that, I will ask for public comment. Starting with all the public comment on Zoom, we will close that portion and bring it back to the council chamber. Not seeing any except little waving of heat waves. So thank you. Closing public comment. Let's move on to our emergency session. Consider an adoption of resolution 01-09-2023-A ratifying a proclamation of a local state of emergency in the city of Sonora as required by the California Emergency Services Act, California Government Code Section 8630(B). Administrator Eads, take it away, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So staff would recommend that you adopt the resolution ratifying the proclamation that I made as city administrator on January 6th. If there's any questions, I have appointed Chief New, our emergency operations coordinator, and she has been handling much of our incidents since the proclamation on the 6th. She and I are both here to happy to answer any questions that you have.
Does the council have any questions for staff?
I think this is very thoroughly written. I understand it. And then right in front of my house, actually, the police barricaded off the North Stewart Street, and there's a tree down and about to hit a power line. So the guys are on it and they're in the rain and they're doing a great job.
Which is what we expect. With that,
I have a
I'm
question.
sorry, Ann, please.
Does this proclamation make it easier for us to apply for grants for damaged properties and historical buildings and that kind of thing?
I don't know about grants, but I do know about making us eligible for state and federal reimbursement under the state and the Fed emergency declaration. I'm not certain about grants.
No.
Perhaps should we suffer some damage and have a history of flood and damage associated with storms, possibly.
And should citizen concerns be directed to Chief New, or should they come through city administrator and community services?
So if council has any questions or concerns, I would always direct you to me with those questions or concerns, and I will delegate them to staff as appropriate. And we encourage members of the public to contact our police department non-emergency line with any concerns or issues that they're having in their community. Chief New, do you have any follow-up to that?
Just that if they're non-life threatening, to call the police department's non-emergency number, otherwise dial 911 if they think it's an emergency, so we can get the proper resources out there.
Okay, great. Thank you. I will have my concerned neighbors call the police department.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Sagerstrom. What's the level of problems that we've had because of this storm thus far?
So initially, with the rainfall, we were watching the creeks to make sure that they weren't going outside of their beds. They were overflowing a little bit on Southgate, and so we were concerned with the residential population, TUD. There's also the COVID testing center out at the fairgrounds. Just keeping an eye on that and making sure that we can get people in and out safely. We do need a trigger, letting them know that it might be a warning to look for the waters rising. Just keeping a close eye on that. We've had probably a handful of slides where the earth's given way in different locations. We've contacted the private property owners in those locations to let them know, advise them of the mitigation measures they should be taking just to prevent any further damage. Right now, I don't think we have anything to date that we've actually had to evacuate people or move them out of the area. We did have the road closure on North Stewart due to the tree coming down into the power lines, but it's being mitigated as we speak, and hopefully, if it's not open already, should be in the next couple of hours.
At the flood level at the fairgrounds, how high from high water mark there?
It
or
just
from
keeps
overflowing?
fluctuating depending on the level of rain we're getting. The intensity we had this morning, it obviously was flowing extremely fast. So we're concerned about that as well. And the fact that it was probably about 3 to 4 foot from the top of the banks in certain areas. But then the rain stops for a little while, it recedes down, and now we've got, a lot more room. So just hoping and praying that the storms come intermittently and enough that the creeks can handle it.
I think we're looking pretty good, actually.
Right now we are, so
So
keep that
because-
going.
I know we're expecting, what, another couple inches?
Well, they're forecasting 5 to 7.5 inches out of this storm between Monday and Tuesday, and our concern was how fast that was going to come down. So we've taken mitigation measures with purchasing sandbags and visqueen, tarps, the tools needed to mitigate anything on the public works side, police and fire. So we're well stocked and we're ready for what comes our way.
For the last several hours in any event, it seems like the rain's been steady but moderate, and we obviously are prepared for that regardless. So
Yeah, overnight,
Okay.
there's been several trees that have come down on private
Yeah.
property that Public Works has assisted with, fires assisted with, and a few hillsides again that are starting to slough off, but most of it's on private property, and it hasn't gone into city property at this time. And we're just
So-
monitoring.
I passed off a concern that I'd heard about a tree on Lyons leaning into one of the oaks, I believe above the road. I haven't gone to see it myself. I passed that off and I imagine that
Yeah,
it's been
staff
at
has
least
contacted,
apprised.
yeah, staff
So,
contacted the
yeah.
private property owner. Yeah, absolutely.
So we need big cable, pull it up the right way.
I think I was one of the people clogging up the police line. That tree in.
Yeah.
So so I'd heard several people contacted me about that and I just thought I'd bring it up. So if that covers questions for staff, I'd like to ask for public comment. Once again, it seems like we're thoroughly uninteresting today. And with that, I will close public comment. Bring it back to the council for,
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption of resolution 0109-2023A.
I second.
thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, it passes unanimously 4-0 with 1 absentee. Thank you very much. And with that, I will take the liberty of adjourning our meeting.